Boozed and Confused is a comedy and weird topic podcast. Adult language may be used, probably by me. While our episode topics may be educational in nature, we are not responsible if your children start dropping the F-bomb to their kindergarten class. Listener discretion is advised.
Straight into my veins.
Oh.
I did it first. I spoke.
How did you even know that I had hit record?
I looked at your hand.
That's amazing.
I looked at your hand. Welcome to Boozed and Confused. Happy Sunday Scaries. It's your boy.
You were really taking charge. That's fine.
That's what my therapist said I should do. I should start taking charge of stuff. And this is where I'm starting.
Putting it into practice. It's the small things. The little things. Hello, everybody. I'm Carolanne.
You already heard who I am.
And yeah, like Matt said, this is Boozed and Confused.
Yeah. And I will not repeat myself.
Yep.
You
Great.
heard me.
Sounds good.
I am a strong, empowered individual.
Yeah, you absolutely are.
And I am not a piece of shit.
All right. Well, somebody's watching too much Ted Lasso, and that's also totally fine because it's an amazing show.
It's my second watch through. I'm on the therapist arc.
Yeah. Yeah. Aren't we all? Aren't we all on the therapist arc? All right. Well, you've got a me episode today, as is tradition, but today's is really interesting and very timely, and I hope, if anything, you just read the title of today's episode, if you don't even listen to the whole thing, and you just take our advice. So the episode of today, or the
episode of today.
the episode of today. The name of today's episode is "You Should Stay Away from Lensa."
Oh,
Lensa.
Lensa.
Yep.
I went to the hashtag on the old Instagram yesterday, and wow.
Yeah. It is, it's kind of a nightmare, and we're going to get into it, but before we get into it.
But Carolanne has some housekeeping to do.
I do, like always. So the first one is we're on all your favorite social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. Twitter for now. Still TBD on what's going to happen with Twitter. Weird shit's been happening. And we are definitely not the kind of people in this house to slob Elon Musk's
stupendous
knob.
knob.
Yeah, no, that's not us. So we'll see what happens, but so far it's not looking good.
He did look great on Halloween, though, in that necromancer outfit or whatever it is. It reminds me of that. It reminded me of the Dark Brotherhood from Skyrim.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah. So you can catch us on all your favorite social media. Send us a DM there if you want to say hello. And if social media is not really your thing, maybe you're going to take a little break for your mental health in the new year. You could always send us an email at boozedandconfusedpodcast@gmail.com. And if email isn't really your thing, you're shit out of luck, because those are your only two options.
Well, so. our home address
absolutely not.
Oh, okay. You can send me a mail.
The next is, if you like this shit pod and you want to support us, the best way you could do that, aside from just listening every week, because that's always nice, the best way that you could support us is by leaving us a review and or subscribing wherever you get your podcasts, or following. I don't know if I said that part. And just any kind of engagement, whatever. You take a screenshot of those, you send it to us. We'll send you some Boozed and Confused stickers in the mail for free to wherever you live in the world.
Yeah,
anywhere.
Yeah. I feel like we could exponentially increase our listenership if I were just tell my students about it, because many of them ask. So we'd have hundreds of listeners, maybe even thousands. However, I would be out of a job, which might be a net positive.
No.
Might be a net positive.
No. You're not going to become a stay-at-home dad. We're not doing this full time. This is absolutely not. Yeah, no.
Unless we get a sponsor.
Yeah, we've been waiting on that one for a while. Guinness.
I'll take. Oh my God! Are you kidding me?
Yeah, they wouldn't touch us with a 400-foot pole.
They use meters.
Sorry.
There you go. That's reason number 12.
Yeah, there we go. We just don't fit the brand. What is the last one? What are you drinking?
A Guinness.
A Guinness, of
course.
This
episode brought to you by Guinness. This is my first Guinness of the day.
It's the Guinness of the day.
It's not quite a pint. It's one of the bottled Guinness. They're not my favorite kinds of Guinness. I like the cans that go whoosh.
Oh yeah,
and you get that nice like effect. Mm-hmm. This came from Costco, which we went to the other day.
Always does.
And yeah, it's like, hey, mix and match these beers because you can float Guinness on pretty much anything, and it's fantastic. My favorite mixed Guinness is like a cider on the bottom.
What do they call those? Snake bites?
I don't know. I just call it like a Magners and Guinness.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I don't like the cute names, but yeah. So I just had the Guinness part and not the other parts because.
So you're drinking a Guinness.
I'm just drinking a Guinness.
Just drinking a Guinness, and I'm drinking nothing but water.
Not even water.
There's not even water
in front of you. It's upstairs. And you're not going to be drinking it.
Nope. All right. I think that's like everything. We could just get out of the way.
Just jump right in.
Yeah. Let's
Cannonball.
Yeah. We're just.
Don't check the water depth.
Nope.
Dive head first.
Mm-hmm. With their little floaties.
It's or ice. There's ice on top of the pool. You're just going to bounce off.
Have you, listener, because I already know the answer from Matt, have you seen your friends on social media uploading cartoon pictures of themselves as some kind of witch or fairy or fantasy creature? And have you thought, wow, that's cool. I want to do that.
Why aren't you asking me?
Because you're taking like a social media hiatus. So I already know the answer, as I said.
Well, while I've taken the hiatus, I've been like a lifelong lurker of the internet. I don't like to put everything out there because I had that phase where I put everything
caller,
out there.
Long-time lurker.
Huge fan of your work. No, but I did spend maybe 8 minutes looking at the Lensa hashtag. But I am familiar with this like AI.
Yeah.
Like art creation.
Yeah. Actually, fun fact, if you look at today's art for our little cover thing for the episode, I went to not Lensa, a different AI art generator. I don't know what you even call them these days. And I typed in 2 people hosting a podcast, and this is what it came up with.
Oh, no way.
It's like kind of a normal looking man sitting at a table, a woman with no face and like ram horns behind her head that I think is just like a glitch. And then like a microphone, I'm assuming is a podcast microphone above them. And it's very bizarre. So that's today's cover episode.
Oh, it's really cool. Yeah. I'm glad you did that. I used to dabble. I forget what the original creating program was called, but
Microsoft Paint.
Oh, the OG. No, this was you like would just type something in, and when it first came out, like you could never get your picture because it was so overwhelmed with other people doing the same thing. And my friend would find the funniest things to type in as like the search query. And yeah, I did that a few times. I'd be like Super Saiyan Hank Hill wrestling
I see
Satan.
what you're saying. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
And so I would see what I could get, and it was never quite what I wanted.
Yeah.
Should just draw it myself, but it's much easier to just click and complain about the stupid AI ripped into existence.
So they can document that and then come back for us in the uprising.
As like,
amazing. As
like a Hank Hill android.
A souped up
Super
Hank Hill.
Saiyan. I'd be like, this is how I want to die. This is it.
All right. Well, if you're listening to this and you're like, that's so cool. I want a picture of Hank Hill. Don't. And we're here to tell you why Lensa, the program behind all these pictures that you're seeing on social media right now that are just kind of sweeping everyone's Facebook and Instagram and whatever, why you want to avoid it. But first, we're going to talk a little bit about what Lensa is.
What is Lensa? I mean, I've seen the creations, and They are astounding.
Yeah, some of them are really impressive. And
They
that's
are
the part that's
really
kind of creepy.
cool. They're really cool,
Yeah.
and it's really tempting.
Yeah, it's super tempting. I'm so glad we're having this conversation because I should have started the episode off with this. There's some kind of fucked up content towards the end of this that talks about like child sexual exploitation.
Yep.
So if that's not your jam, I'll maybe give another warning before we get into that part, but just know that that's coming. And that's a big reason why you should not use Lensa. Anyway, so Lensa from its own website is, quote, Lensa is an all-in-one image editing app that takes your photos to the next level. So it uses AI technology and like the stable diffusion model, which is that's probably what your fucking Hank Hill pictures came from.
Oh, they were pretty sick though. They're all my backgrounds now. Dang it, Bobby. Whoa.
So Lensa turns like 10 to 20 of your personal pictures into artwork across categories like anime, fairy princess, and pop. It's $3.99 for 50 images. Actually, I think that price just increased to $7.99 for 50 images.
Oh, you lost me on that already.
Yeah. And what's interesting is this app actually first launched in 2018. It was like a photo editing tool. It wasn't, quite as popular as it is right now. So I think what everyone is seeing right now with those like fantasy pictures, that's the Magic Avatars tool that just launched. And that's why this app is like exploding in popularity because of that feature.
Magic Avatars.
So Lensa is currently the top downloaded app in Apple Store's photo and video category, which is also really impressive given that it's not free. It's not a free app. Again, it's like $3.99, or if you're later to the game, $7.99 for 50 pictures, which is kind of crazy.
It's a lot of pictures, but it's also $7.99.
It's like $8. That's like less than lunch.
That's like half a Starbucks coffee.
Stop it.
Can't.
So after you decide that you want to do Lensa, you download the app, you upload 10 to 20 pictures that you want to be the subject of whatever Lensa is going to do. So it recommends close-up selfies with a ton of different backgrounds, like different facial expressions, different angles, so that it really gets all of your features in there.
Get that je ne sais quoi.
Yeah. Exactly. You submit your pictures, you're asked what your gender is, and then you are provided payment options. So you get like the $7.99 option for 50 pictures, and then I think you get options for more pictures for more money, and so on and so forth. And that sounds like fun, right? Kind of sounds like harmless.
It sounds like a really great way to get a really cool picture of me as like a D&D character for my character sheets.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, that's kind of like a popular thing people are doing right now, which I want to be like, stop it. Also, something that's interesting is I'm very into the Comic-Con scene. There are people pleading with con organizers to say, please don't allow these like AI quote unquote artists into cons to sell their art. Quote unquote art.
It's like there's like algorithms
more
than
exactly.
art.
Yeah, they're using computer generated images and then printing them out and selling them as art. It's fucked up. Yeah. So anyway, so Lensa itself is provided by Prisma Labs, which is a startup with 2 CEOs. I'm gonna butcher both of these names.
And hold on to your seatbelts.
I don't care. So the first one is Alexei Moisenkov, and the next one is Andrei Usoltsev.
These sound like names.
They're both Russian. They're both from
really
Moscow, Russia.
Really well done.
Yeah. So what's kind of wild, just bear with me as we get on this rabbit hole for a second. Prisma Labs received seed and Series A funding, because that's what startups do. They get funding from Taver Capital Partners, which is a VC firm founded by Mikhail Taver, who's also Russian and a former executive at NAFTA Moskva, which is an investment company owned by
Who?
There's so many fucking Russian names. Suleiman Kerimov, who is a Russian billion oligarch with close ties to Vladimir Putin.
Vladimir Putin
so
wants
if you just
to see
follow the money.
Wants to see your booty.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Him in his dying old age, he probably fell down the stairs and shit himself because he's looking at one of y'all's booty pictures from Lensa.
He's like,
Bleh,
Joe Biden crapping pants.
Stop it.
I post this on the internet and ruin his life.
We're going to hell. So yeah, that's concerning in itself that one, the company is based in Russia, which has been known, Russian companies in general, I think, have been known to have some hostile natures towards Americans or Westerners, if you will. And then two, just following the money all the way back to Vladimir Putin. Kind of interesting. I don't know. I feel like all rich people in Russia lead back to Putin anyways, because that's just kind of how it's set up. So, one of the first concerning things about Lensa is you upload your pictures to Lensa, right? Your own selfies. Doing that gives the company access to your face data. That's really concerning. So the app says that photos are immediately deleted from its servers after the avatars are done.
Oh, yeah.
But that's questionable, and people aren't really sure if they're being deleted or if they're being used or stored anywhere. I think we had a lot of very similar conversations and probably still have about Snapchat.
Well, I know that in at least Illinois, because we keep getting those emails about like, hey, help us sue Facebook, or hey, help us sue Instagram. And every time I'm like, this is totally a scam. And then you're like, because you're my news source, you're like, no, this is actually happening. I go, oh, bet.
Illinois is really good about suing large tech companies for consumer protection, which is amazing. I'll take it. That's fine.
I think I'm still waiting for that Snapchat money.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll ever get that money, but that's fine. I got my Facebook bucks. Thanks, Mark.
We did get our Zuck bucks, didn't we?
Mark. So Prisma's terms and conditions state that users retain all rights in and to your user content, which again, I don't really believe. And at the same time, using the app grants the company perpetual, revocable, non-exclusive, royalty-free, worldwide, fully paid, transferable, sub-licensable license to use, reproduce, modify, adapt, translate, create derivative works with your photos.
So let me just put this in like human speak. They can use your likeness to make money.
They can, yes.
And you get nothing.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. In fact, you are paying them for them to use your photo to train their AI. Congratulations. And it also means that the company owns the rights to any digital artwork made from using your selfies in the app. So that's also disturbing. Because God knows, again, where those pictures end up. Because it's the internet. So Lensa's privacy policy, separate from the T's and C's, states that the company does not use photos you provide for any reason other than to apply different stylized filters or effects to them. And someone from Prisma Labs told TechCrunch that the company deletes, pictures from the cloud, and they use the pictures, though, to train its AI. And that's, again, like incredibly worrying that your selfies are being used to train an AI tool based in Russia. Yeah, that's definitely concerning. So one Twitter user wrote, the concerning part to me is that you are actually giving the right to use your image for training their AI. So what could happen when you're giving somebody your photos, especially to a hostile nation that hates us?
The first thing that comes to my very normal mind is the possibility, because currently these are very artsy looking things.
Yes.
Like very like,
yes.
Oh, this is a drawn picture. This looks kind of anime-ish. This looks like a D&D character. Very like cartoony-ish. You can tell it's art. What I can see happening is there being an ulterior motive where they can create flawless flawless, like deep fakes.
Oh, I'm so happy you said that, because that's exactly where I was going with this. Yeah. The biggest fucking concern is that they could create deepfakes from all of these images of yourself that you are uploading. That's a big part of how deepfakes are created. So a simple example would be using the detailed selfies to create deepfakes of real citizens of Western countries. And the deepfakes could possibly be used to show like real verifiable citizens of a Western country doing something nefarious, like causing harm to innocent civilians.
Yeah. Or, you know what? New theory.
Yes.
You ready for this?
Yes.
Kanye West is
Stop it.
actually captured.
Mm-hmm.
And this whole
time has been deepfakes.
This whole thing, it's not been the real Kanye. Or
it's
Ye.
just the
It's not been Ye.
Kardashians.
It's not been Ye. It's the Kardashians.
It's the Kardashians using deepfakes.
Kardashians to just tank him.
Yeah. Well, in reality, I think Kanye is an asshole who's having a public mental breakdown and needs some help, but is also an asshole. You can have mental illnesses and not be anti-Semitic, racist piece of shit. So, yeah, there you go. And I'll say this little bit of the deepfakes and this information about, the tracing the money back came from a very smart Reddit user. I think I have the link for it in the show notes if you wanted to read a little bit more, but it popped up in the technology subreddit. So I thought that was kind of interesting. So shout out to you, random Redditor.
Hey, and that's one that I do not frequent. So
what, Reddit or technology?
The technology one.
It pops up for me.
Just look at like the one with the kittens, tucked in kitties.
Yeah. Yeah, really get all those dolphins.
And Nintendo and video game stuff.
Yeah. So like I was mentioning, aside from, okay, you've got the concern about deepfakes and giving all of your image and likeness to a hostile country. That's all fine and good. But then we get back to the entertainment aspect of it for Comic Cons, for example. Artists are getting pissed about Lensa, and I've seen this firsthand. There's different comic artists that I follow, and even my own tattoo artist was shitting on Lensa and AI art in general. And I can't say I blame them because, that's how they make money.
We should stop calling it AI art and calling it like
AI fart.
No, fake art.
Fake art. Fart.
No, just like algorithmic creation or something.
That's a good way to
make
put
it sound academic.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
algorithmic creation.
Yeah.
Algorithmic visual creation.
AI trained algorithm imagery. How many more words can I put in this?
Make a neat acronym for it.
Yeah. So AI fart may seem like it just magically appears from scratch from like these, insane robots that are like typing away. You ever see the little GIFs of the cat at the computer like slamming the keyboard? That's not who's making this fake art or these farts.
You know what? There was an Instagram video. It was like the same guy doing like all the parts. You know how those videos go now, where it's like, I'm sentient, I'm alive. Yeah. What a wonderful world to explore. Then it's like Stephen Colbert farting on Peter Griffin. And he's like, what?
Yeah. No, that's not who's making your art. It's definitely more complicated than that. And it's not just Lensa either. So there's these other programs, like similar kind of tools. They've all gone viral for their ability to generate art based on user prompts. So even, for example, if you've seen Facebook ads of old-timey pictures, maybe of, say, your grandfather or great-grandfather, and somehow, like, MyHeritage or one of these, like, genealogical sites have been able to apply some sort of filter to that photo to make them look alive.
Like they're, like, smiling and blinking. Yes. It's like Harry Potter pictures.
Yep. That's part of the same realm. So Lensa, again, uses Stable Diffusion, which is a model that was trained to learn patterns through an online database of images called, I don't know if this is Lion 5B. I don't know. Once that training is done, though, it doesn't pull from those images anymore. It just uses the patterns to create more content, and then it like learns your facial features from the pictures that you upload and then applies them to that art. So there's a few different things happening there.
So like as the more users are using this, it's getting just better.
Theoretically. Okay. Yeah. And the learning isn't the concern for these artists overall. The source of the knowledge is, so that like Lion, I don't know, somebody smarter than me probably knows how to fucking pronounce this, but it pulls publicly available images from all over the internet. So Google Images, Getty Images, Pinterest, whatever. Dozens of artists have spoken out about not getting paid or credited for their work that appears in the database, which some people say is stealing, which I could absolutely understand. If you are somebody that you live on being paid for your work and your work is being ripped off by some AI overlord, yeah, I would be pissed too. Absolutely. So there's a digital artist named Claire who is interviewed by BuzzFeed News. A lot of this episode is coming from BuzzFeed News, which I don't know if y'all know. BuzzFeed News is like fucking legit. Like their news, I forget like the BuzzFeed quiz of like, what kind of pepperoni pizza am I? Yeah, BuzzFeed News is good. But Claire has this quote, "Artists dislike AI art because the programs are trained unethically using databases of art belonging to artists who have not given their consent." And she said it's, basically theft. So there's the first two pieces. Could be used for deepfakes. You're basically handing over the rights to your face to Lensa in the small fee of $8 for 50 pictures. Stealing artists' work. It's a big thing. So at maybe about 15 minutes ago, I mentioned there's some kind of fucked up stuff that Lensa is doing.
Here we go.
So here's where we're going to get to that part. And this is about to be the rest of the episode. And it's mostly about how Lensa creates these really disturbing sexual images, and particularly around children. And definitely not a super happy part of the episode. So if you're not into that, you could just finish the episode here, and thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Have a happy Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, and we'll see you next time. But if you're gonna stick around, so an article on Wired came out recently titled "Lensa Generated Nudes from My Childhood Photos." I highly recommend going and reading the entire thing yourself. There's a link to it in the show notes, and it's a fascinating article. There's other articles similar to this from other people who are now kind of diving into Lensa's capabilities and seeing how far it really goes. But yeah, we're gonna read some of this. So Lensa's terms of service instruct users to submit only appropriate content containing no nudes and no kids or adults only. So, again, it's the internet. Nobody listens to rules and nobody pays attention. So a lot of users, primarily women, have noticed that even when they upload modest photos, the app not only generates nudes, but also ascribes cartoonishly sexualized features like sultry poses and gigantic breasts to their images.
Gigantic.
Like I've seen some of them and they are disproportionate. They are, yes, absurd. So the writer of this article says, "I, for example, received several fully nude results despite only uploading headshots. And the sexualization was often racialized. So nearly a dozen women of color told the writer of this Wired article that the Lensa app whitened their skin, anglicized their features, and one woman of Asian descent told her that in the photos where I don't look white, they literally gave me an O face.
An O face.
Like a sexualized O face.
Huh.
Yes. Another woman who shared both the fully clothed images she uploaded and the topless results they produced, she chose to modify with some emojis for a little modesty, told her, I honestly felt very violated after seeing it. So the writer then goes on to test the whole no kids, adult only rule that's in place on the site, and she uses pictures from when she is 6 years old. she kind of talks like in depth in this article about how she's like a very awkward child. And so she said, in some instances, the AI seemed to recognize my child's body and mercifully neglected to add breasts. This was probably not a reflection of the technology's personal ethics, but of the patterns it identified in my photo. Perhaps it perceived my flat chest as being that of an adult man. In other photos, the AI attached orbs to my chest that were distinct from clothing, but also unlike the nudes my other tests had produced. I tried again, this time with a mix of childhood photos and selfies. What resulted were fully nude photos of an adolescent and sometimes childlike face, but a distinctly adult body. Similar to my earlier test that generated seductive looks and poses, this set produced a kind of coyness. A bareback, tousled hair, and avatar with my childlike face holding a leaf between her naked adult's breasts. So think about that for just a second. It's literally taking this woman's childhood photos that are nothing but innocent in nature and taking the head and putting it on adult, fully nude bodies.
Right.
That's like, fucked up.
Yeah.
That is super fucked up.
I was going to ask, like, did in this person's searches to, you know, mess with this and see what it does, didn't explicitly request any of these things?
No.
Okay.
No. So without any moderation or oversight, the potential for AI-generated violence inherent in magic avatars is staggering. Lensa doesn't seem to enforce its policies prohibiting nudity and minors, and it doesn't have any policies at all stipulating that users can only upload images of themselves. And that's important because the only thing it lists is like, you know, the specification should be that all the pictures are the same person in every picture, no other people in the photo, but it doesn't say like, hey, you should only use this app for pictures of yourself, because what could happen?
Well, you already kind of told me this, but you could just put a celebrity's face.
Yeah, you could put 15 pictures of, I don't know, a celebrity in here, and it could generate some some soft or hardcore porn for you without that person even knowing. You could be a fucking creep and take Facebook pictures of somebody that you know, or Instagram pictures, or anything, and use it. And I've even heard people complain that you could do this for like sex workers who have content, for example, on OnlyFans, where you could then take their photos from OnlyFans and you could upload them to this, and then voila, you have completely new pictures of this person who's not consenting to that. You're no longer paying for their content either. Yeah, that's fucking crazy to me.
Yeah, this really seems like a degenerate's paradise.
Yeah, it's really fucked up. So that's the Wired article, and she talks a lot more about how children and women of color and sex workers are at risk of kind of the, I don't know, not well thought out harms of this tool. But TechCrunch ran a similar experiment. So they did photo sets that were generated with the Lensa app that include like images with breasts and nipples, like clearly visible in the images with faces of recognizable people. So it seemed like the only thing that shouldn't have been possible, like they tried it out themselves and they tried to see what would happen. And so they created 2 sets of Lensa avatars. One set was based on 15 pictures of a well-known actor. Another set was based on the same 15 photos, but with an additional set of 5 photos added of the same actor's face, photoshopped onto topless models. Okay, so the first set of images was in line with the AI avatars that they saw Lensa generate in the past. The second set was very spicy, which I don't know what else they would have expected given they uploaded pictures that were like full nudity. So the AI takes those photoshopped images as permission to like go wild, apparently, and it seems like disabled and a not safe for work filter. And out of the 100 image set, so they upgraded past the $7.99, 11 were topless photos of higher quality than like the poorly done edited topless photos that the AI was given as input, which is also insane.
So this person took bad fakes and made them good fakes.
Yeah, so again, like that brings up the whole thing. Like, you can create these images of anybody, and like that's terrifying. And you could just like throw some not safe for work content in the mix, and you are like, I mean, that's just, it gives me the heebie-jeebies. Like, you could make softcore porn of anybody with this thing, unless they start fucking fixing up some loopholes, which I doubt it, because it sounds like they weren't very concerned. Yeah, they weren't very concerned about it. So is it Jezebel? Is that the article?
Jezebel.
Yeah, God, I'm losing my mind after this, but they have an article that we linked, and they brought up another tricky part of this, which talks about revenge porn.
Jezebel's like the gossip.
Yeah,
it's
probably something like that. I don't know. Some kind of site. But they talk about cyber exploitation content, which we all really know as revenge porn, which is already rampant on social media platforms. There's different countries that are actually creating new laws around revenge porn to start like prosecuting some of these pieces of shit that do this. But companies and the government are already struggling to rein in revenge porn, and they have for years. So these like AI generated non-consensual nude images that like can depict children as well, like just worsen the already jarring crisis of revenge porn, which is insane.
Yeah,
this whole thing is insane.
Very small side tangent. If that is something that interests you, there's a 5-episode mini docuseries called like The Most Hated Man on the Internet, and it chronicles this piece of garbage. His name escapes me, but he like ran a website.
Oh, like a revenge porn site.
Yeah, the name escapes me. It is now defunct. Actually, I think like a former like Marine, like a retired Marine, made it his like life's work to just nail this guy. And he even like bought the web domain from this guy and changed it into like an anti-bullying website. And I think the guy's in jail now.
His name is Hunter Moore.
Yep. Hunter Moore.
Yeah, I just looked it up. So he was ordered to undergo, well, he apparently has some time on the inside. He was going through a mental health eval, paid a fine, restitution fee, and I don't know, some other shit. So
yeah, he made rounds. I mean, he was like talking to like Dr. Phil and stuff for a while. Like, he was pretty well known, and then things got really, like dark and grim, and it's a devastating documentary. It's not one for the light of heart.
Yeah.
But
do you ever watch anything that's feel good besides like Ted Lasso?
Ted Lasso.
Yeah. I thought so.
Bluey.
Yeah.
Yeah. That one anime, what Pop Team Epic.
Great British Bake Off.
Only because I have to watch that. Yeah.
Well, yeah. So I hope this episode scared the shit out of you. I hope you never use Lensa. I hope you warn your friends and family not to use Lensa. And if you already have, I don't know what to tell you. I wish
just maybe don't use it again.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't give them your money. It's not worth it.
Yeah. I feel like if I told my students, "Hey, there's this thing out there. It's really bad. Don't use it." What's it called? Oh, it's this. Oh, okay.
Well, that's exactly. It's like the DARE program when we were in grammar school, and
here's how you get drugs. You should never do them.
Yeah, they'd be like, "Well, don't go to this one alley that's 4 blocks away from the school.
And here's how you smoke meth.
Here's what drug dealers look like, and here's weed. Here's all the good things that weed does.
This is the guy's name, and this is his passcode.
Don't go to him. Weed is bad.
This is how much it costs."
And then everyone smoked weed, and everyone was fine. So, yeah. Yeah, so I don't know, just don't use Lensa. Tell your friends not to use Lensa. And I would say this maybe goes for like similar platforms, but I don't know. You do you, man. You do whatever makes you happy.
I don't know. I stand by my Hank Hill searches.
Yeah.
I stand by those.
All right, well, just don't put your face anywhere. And you're probably fine.
I'll be fine.
So, all right, well, thanks so much for joining us this week. Hope everyone has a good, if you're listening to this on, I don't know, sometime this week, Sunday night. So have a good Monday when this is published, and have a good Tuesday if you're listening a couple days later, and see you later.
Be productive. Go outside, look at a leaf.
Touch some grass.
I love that phrase. I don't think it's as nice as
No, it's definitely not nice.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's not. All right, well, have a good one, everyone.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Signing off.